first Israeli team to compete at the Invictus Games for veterans of the military came home Monday from Germany after winning 14 medals, including 3 golds in table tennis. Now, they also said they came away with great memories of meeting fellow military veterans from around the world, including Prince Harry, of course, who founded the Games after his combat service in the British Army in Afghanistan. It's an athletic competition. It's held every year or two, I believe, since 2014. And it's for wounded combat soldiers from countries around the world, promoting sports as an essential means of the physical and mental rehabilitation so needed by our warriors. We're joined now by Ora Seidner, the charge of project development at the Tzahal Disabled Veterans Fund and a co-manager of the Israeli team at the Invictus Games. So appreciate you being with us today. Look, the first Israeli team to do this, I know there was some delegation, I believe, here recently from the Games. So there's been some contacts with the Invictus Games. But tell us how it was to make this happen and for Israelis to finally integrate into this important scene.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be here with you. The delegation that was here is actually an ongoing project that we have unrelated to Invictus, where we bring 70 UK war veterans to Israel with their families every year for some games with our veterans. The Invictus Games, indeed, it was a joint effort led by the Israel Ministry of Defense. For many years, we tried to get invited. It was not part of the charter of the Games, but eventually we were able to get an invitation. The excitement of bringing together a delegation of 19 wounded war veterans who train regularly at our rehabilitation, sports, and recreation centers, Beit HaLochem, to meet with so many other national veterans. That in itself was a wonderful achievement. But of course, I think they were humbled as they realized that they share so many similar stories and similar trials and tribulations along the road to rehabilitation with so many others. I think Israel is probably a leader among the international community of rehabilitating wounded war veterans and has a lot to teach, but realized, as I said, we were humbled when we heard some of the heartbreaking stories of our colleagues from around the world.
Absolutely. It's inspiring to see this group of heroes, to put it simply, getting together. And I know Prince Harry, for all his drama, he's been a guiding light, to these men and women who participate in Invictus Games. Look, might this lead to more Israeli participation, similar programs locally? I mean, were there some, lessons learned, essentially from Invictus?
Well, I guess the message of Invictus and the spirit of Invictus is not necessarily the achievement and the medals, and they make a point of saying that over and over again, but of course, who doesn't want to bring medals? But the spirit of Invictus is the road to rehabilitation through sport. And we do that actually every day, so to speak. We have that spirit of Invictus in Israel through the Tzahal Disabled Veterans Organization, emphasizing sport as a rehabilitation tool basically since its inception. Over 74 years ago. So the Beit HaLochem centers train these veterans. Some become professional athletes and represent Israel in international competitions. But the Invictus Games, we actually chose to send people who persevere in a particular branch but have never been to international competitions. So whether this will lead to other similar such frameworks, we have already agreed to join the Invictus Games in 2025. It's going to be winter sports in Canada, and we're very excited. We're very
fantastic.
Excited. And we do hope to host veterans from other countries here as well.
Great. Obviously important, just so important to establish those ties, to create these connections, as you mentioned, finding camaraderie one with another. Look, I understand many of the veterans are dealing with very visible injuries, but many not, the quote-unquote invisible injuries such as post-trauma. Is this also a part of the framework of what the group's doing?
Absolutely. Invictus made a point of saying that everyone is invited, whether their injury is visible or invisible. And they actually went out of their way in the what they called the Invictus village to set up various stations to help people with post-trauma. They had dogs that were made available, therapy dogs that were made available to go from one player to the next, lick them and kiss them and have them encouraged. They had special rooms, which they called quiet rooms, so people could, enjoy a moment. Plus, the important part is they invited family and friends. So every veteran was asked to bring 2 family members or friends, which emphasizes something that is very important.
Well, I know that everything, obviously, Invictus Games is very important here, but the Tahoe Disabled Veterans Fund, critical to all of those people out there affected and to the country's welfare at large. So, Ora Seidner, keep up the good work. Thanks for joining us on the program.